Tonight on Sports Paws, ranked teams from across the country come to Hampton to face the Bobcats. We'll show you which teams earn upsets this week.
And women's soccer star Nadia Gill will be us live, so sit back and relax. Sports Paws starts right now.
Hello, good evening, and welcome inside Studio 125A. This is Sports Paws. I'm Dylan Fearon, and this is Mike Dalton.
All right, Dylan, let's make this a great show, and let's start off with women's rugby. The Bobcats faced the Penn State Nittany Lions on Saturday. The first half belonged to the Nittany Lions, and this is one of the 4 tries they produced in the first 40 minutes. As you can see, the starting lineups from each team. And let's take it to the first half. And Penn State on the verge of trying, and they will make it. And the referee indicates that a try has been made. On to the second half now. Quinnipiac started off banging on all cylinders. Rebecca Hates going to take this one to the house and bring the Bobcats within 5 points. And there she goes, using that speed that she has along the sidelines and in for the try. And now, but Penn State is going to bounce back and keep their foot on the gas pedal as Kayla Kinnett puts a nice little juke on number 16, Mika Maples, to head in for the try. But then Alona Marr is going to get the Bobcats back in it and tie the game up. And there goes Emily Roscoff. Quinnipiac ahead by 2. She will put some insurance on the lead, and Quinnipiac wins this one in a thriller, 36-27.
And now to discuss that, we've got Kyle Lavasser in the house. Kaiser Rugby Encyclopedia. What's going on, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, Dylan. I'm excited to talk about this rugby game. So exciting. Let's get right into it.
So we just saw the video of the game. You know, how big of a win is that against a Big Ten team like Penn State?
Well, right, you just said it, Dylan. I mean, Penn State is in the Big Ten. They're not an NIRA team, which means it doesn't go for their conference win. But when you look at a team like Penn State, they are the premier club-level team in the country. They've won 12 national championships. And it's just the way that they won also to go along with it was just remarkable. They're down 20-5 late in the first half, 20-10 actually at half, and they go on to beat them 36-27, only allowing 7 points in the last half. And Penn State was a team that came into that game scoring 167 points in their last 2 games. So the defense held strong. And then you also had your top 2 players come through in the clutch with Alona Marr and Emily Roscoff, each scoring huge tries at the end of the game. And when you look at the rest of their schedule, this was the toughest game for them because they go to AIC next week. AIC is a 1-2 team that lost to Army and Penn State earlier this season, 2 teams that Quinnipiac beat. They also go to Army, a team Quinnipiac beat by 20 to start off the season. And then they play Central Washington twice, which on paper you think Central Washington, that's Quinnipiac's big rival and a team that's given them some trouble in the past. But Central Washington's having a bit of an off year, 1-1 so far. They lost to the University of Lethbridge, and then their one win came against the University of Alberta, but they only won by 3 points. So I think this Penn State win is going to bode well for them going into the playoffs, and I think the next 5 games should be wins for the Bobcats.
Kyle, you brought up Alona Marr. What do you think her chances are of being the player of the year again?
Right, well, here's the thing, Mike. When you're the most valuable player to what I think is the best team in the nation, that obviously puts you in contention for the National Player of the Year. She leads the team so far with 7 tries in 4 games. She had the game-winning try against Penn State in what was such a clutch moment, putting the Bobcats up. She's just a physical force where teams will try and put multiple people on her to restrict her from scoring. So she takes attention away from the rest of the players. And because the team is so deep, she allows the rest of the players to do their job and score. She definitely is in contention for the National Player of the Year.
Kyle, you mentioned earlier Emily Roscoff. How important is she to Quinnipiac this year?
Well, after the game, Dylan, there were players like Flora Poole saying, when is Emily Roscoff not a hero? her head coach, Becky Carlson, also said that in the press conference afterwards. She's just been so, just like Alona Mar, just so clutch in key moments for the Bobcats. In this game, what an insurance try to put the Bobcats up by even more, really putting the nail in the coffin for Quinnipiac. And then when you look back at last year, she scored 3 tries in the national championship win. So she comes in big opportunity. She comes through in big opportunities. She's also scored a try in every match that she's played in. She missed the first one, but she scored a try in each match since. And everything that I just said about Alona Mar, how great she is, how I think she will be the National Player of the Year, you got to give the same for Emily Roskoff because she was last year's team's Offensive Player of the Year. She led the team with tries with 23. She led the team in runs over 20 with 21 of those runs. So she's ready, just like she displayed against Penn State. She's always a threat to run the distance and put her team up.
5 straight wins to end the season. We'll hold you to that, Kyle. Always a pleasure, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Guys, thanks for having me.
All right, home field advantage was huge for the women's soccer team last year, 9-0 in Hamden. The Bobcats have a new stadium, but are looking for the same results and a chance to get a Big Mac win against Siena. The Saints are marching into Hamden looking to steal crucial points from Quinnipiac. A tough out-of-conference schedule against ACC and Ivy League teams is over. We start in the second half, Quinnipiac already trailing 1-0. Laura Nicholas sprints into the box, untouched, left foot, keeps it on the ground. First career goal for the 5th-year defender. Now, a couple of minutes later, Olivia Majszewski, that's fun to say, diving save to keep it tied at 1. So we head to overtime. Who doesn't love free soccer? Quinnipiac looking for a hero, and who else but Nadia Gill. Leads the MAC in goals and second in the nation in points. Too easy for the speedster. Quinnipiac wins at home and in overtime, something it does pretty often. Here's Dave Clark.
That's our 4th overtime game this year, and we talked about we lost one where we didn't do what we needed to do, and we talked about the lessons learned in the 2 wins, and just to trust the coaches that it can't be pretty, it just has to be effective.
And the Bobcats went to Poughkeepsie to face Marist this past Saturday. Neither team scored in the first half. Gill came the closest with this shot, however. Good save. On to the second half. Hannah Reeder heads it high in the air, and Madison Barowick puts it in the back of the net as the Bobcats are up 1-0. Now, the defense was there for the Bobcats, but the Foxes were relentless on the attack. And with 1:12 remaining in regulation, it's Nicole Sasso of the Foxes that ties the game up, and we head into overtime. And there's a good shot by a Marist player and a great save by Majszewski, but we head into double overtime, and this was the closest opportunity that Marist had. Neither team would go on to score, and the game would end in a 1-1 draw. All right, Dylan, field advantage, and we have our own Maya Feigenbaum standing by in the piazza with Nadia Gill of the women's soccer team. Take it away, Maya.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Nadia Gill. How you doing, Nadia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So, you are leading in the MAC right now with 9 goals. That is awesome. What has been working for you?
I think our attacking unit has been gelling pretty well lately, and I mean, most of my goals have been starting from the back, working up to the front. So, like, our team has just been doing incredible, and I mean, my goals couldn't happen without them. So, I think the team is just gelling really well.
That's awesome. So, you have this brand new stadium. It is beautiful. So, how do you prepare differently from your home games versus your away games?
I mean, again, with a new stadium, we have a new locker room. We're trying to pick up some new rituals. I mean, just like the facilities themselves are just a lot better. So, I mean, that just impacts the way we play, impacts our mindset. And then away games they're unpredictable, but we try and keep a regular routine just so we're not always changing things up. But, like, the main thing before every game is just to get the whole team focused in on what we want to do.
Mm-hmm. In this past game against Marist, your goalkeeper, Olivia, had an awesome save. How crucial is it to have someone who's so important behind the net like that?
It's very important. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of us thought the game was like over at that point. Penalty shots normally go in, but she made a great save, and she really covered for us in that game. And just that 1 point, we owe it to her. So.
Mm-hmm. So you have Fairfield this Wednesday. What are you guys focusing on to beat them?
I mean, honestly, the simplest answer to that would be a win. We need the 3 points. So defending the net, like keeping a clean sheet, and then obviously getting a goal in to win the game.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming to us. And back to you guys.
Thanks, Maya. Time for a quick break, but when we come back, both men's soccer and field hockey hosted top 25 teams, but just one came away with a win. Find out which after the break.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network.
We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
or heading to class,
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas. Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Welcome back to Sports Paws, brought to you by Custom Cakes by Steve. If you can dream it, we can bake it. And the men's soccer team had their work cut out for them as they hosted the nationally ranked New Hampshire Wildcats in their final non-conference game of the season. 16 minutes into the first half, and here we go. And into the first half now, Josh Bauer is going to pass it to Jack Doherty, who uses his speed to get just ahead of William Pastari and put the ball past Chrysostomos Yakovidis. And the team celebrating there after Doherty's goal. And on to the second half. Nice cross there, and Philsmar Cordero off the crossbar and into the air. And then another chance by Daly, who just goes just wide of the net. The Bobcats get shut out for the second game in a row, Dylan.
Yeah, they've been struggling to score goals. So men's soccer comes up short, but field hockey had some better luck against Liberty. The Flames are 21st in the latest RPI rankings. The Bobcats just 52nd. So Liberty's got this one sewn up, right? Well, roll the tape. Quinnipiac lost 6-1 to Liberty last year, but this is a different story. Early first half, Flames with a penalty corner. Goaltender Livy Galini has other plans, knocks that one out of bounds to keep Liberty at bay. Here's a second corner that gets blocked, so Liberty's putting the pressure on Quinnipiac early. Here's another shot in the first half right off the bar. Check this one out. And you know, Mike, whenever Quinnipiac has needed a goal or an assist, Lauren Belsky has been the go-to player, and she delivers here. 8 points for her on the season. So could Quinnipiac keep Liberty off the board? Another first half chance that Golini blocks. Nothing getting by her today. So we jump to the final minute of the game. Corner for Liberty. If Quinnipiac keeps it out, it wins. If Quinnipiac keeps it out, they win the game and go 2-0 in the Big East. And it is out. There it is, 2-0 in the Big East for the first time in program history. Becca Mann calls it the second biggest program win for Quinnipiac. And then 2 days later, Quinnipiac would take on California Goals by Dana Barlow and Anna Walmsley were not enough as Quinnipiac lost 3-2. But fortunately for the Bobcats, it's just an out-of-conference game. 3-7 this season, but still 2-0 in Big East play, and that's really all that counts for the Bobcats. Next up is a Friday matinee here against Villanova.
And Quinnipiac Volleyball had their first 2 home games of the season. The Bobcats dominated the St. Peter's Peacocks on Saturday, sweeping them in the 3 sets. The Bobcats won all 3 sets by 10 points or more. Jen Coffey led the way offensively with 13 kills, while the team blocked the ball 16 times. Drew Feinberg has more on the story.
The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team defeated St. Peter's 3-0 on Saturday. The Bobcats were led by junior Jen Coffey, who had 13 kills, and sophomore Maria Pansari, who had 37 assists. Head coach Chris Saplinski says the offensive surge is what helped the Bobcats pick up the win.
You know, I think the setting was a lot more consistent today. Maria did a great job, and that was also due to our back row doing, a great job passing. So when the passing's good, the setting's good, it makes an easy job for the hitters.
Playing 13 away out-of-conference matches before starting MAC play, Saplinski says being home gives them the time they need to focus on improvement.
We've been working a lot on our shots in practice and our offense and making sure that they're doing the right stuff so that when they get into a game, it's going to be a little bit easier for them to see things. So that's all that was. It's just we needed practice, and this is the first week that we've had 4 days of practice, so that was huge for us.
One of only 2 seniors on the roster, middle hitter Elizabeth Kloos has assumed the position of the leader on the court, something that doesn't go unnoticed.
She's been great this year. All right, she's been learning as we go since last year being named the captain, and she's been instrumental with the freshmen, the sophomores, the juniors. She's did a great job all the way around.
Kloos, who's 3rd on the team with 126 kills, considers her role more of a management role than a teaching one.
It's just little reminders, where you're supposed to be in defense, what the other team's going to be doing in that rotation. Just little reminders. Everyone has a general idea of what they're supposed to be doing, but just to keep them focused at every point.
Heading into MAC play and picked 2nd in the preseason poll, Kloos says there's no team that the Bobcats should be intimidated by.
Just playing greater teams really pushed us. We know where we're supposed to be now. The teams we're playing aren't as scary as what we were facing in the preseason.
Reporting from BurtCon Court, Drew Feinberg, Q30 Sports.
The next day, Quinnipiac kept the momentum going. The Bobcats defeat Ryder in 4 sets. Q30's Drew Feinberg and Nick Cataldi were there and explained how the Bobcats earned a weekend sweep.
Hello and welcome to The Rebound, brought to you by Q30 Sports. I'm Nick Cataldi alongside Drew Feinberg. Drew, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I can't complain. We're here at BurtCon Court, where the QU volleyball team has just beaten Ryder in 3-1. Drew, what's been the key in these last 2 games as they beat St. Peter's 3-0 yesterday?
I mean, it's just been an absolute offensive surge for Quinnipiac thus far. 4 players today with over 10 kills. Natalie Lecco, Jen Coffey, Kat Miller, and Elizabeth Kloos, who had 20 kills, a career high for her. They have the highest hitting percentage in the MAC thus far, 2nd in kills, only behind Fairfield, 3rd in blocks, 2nd in aces. They're just playing so well. The middle and outside hitters are playing outstanding thus far, and it's really leading the Bobcats to victory in these few games.
Who's been the impact player so far this season?
There's many names you could name: Natalie Lecco, Jen Coffey, Kaylee Oates, because she started today and she looked very impressive actually. But the player I'm going to say is Elizabeth Kloos. She's one of 2 seniors on the team. She's a big leader. I talked to head coach Chris Saplinski, and she said she's really learning this year what it takes to be a leader. And being one of 2 seniors, you really have to learn very quickly to set the example for the underclassmen. But she had a career high 20 kills today. She's really looking very impressive, and she's super vocal on the court.
How do you think the long non-conference schedule will affect this team in conference play?
I think it's only going to affect them positively because they played such good competition while on the road. Baylor, Washington State, 2 very premier NCAA volleyball teams in the country. But the only thing that could negatively affect them is all the travel. They did travel a lot before they started MAC play. But seeing all that good competition will help them later on, I think.
Jen Coffey went down in the 3rd set today with an ankle. Coach says she should be fine for Wednesday. Drew, if she's out for a long time, how will this affect this team?
Oh, I mean, there's no question that if she's out, the team will slightly be negatively affected. She's a huge part of the offense, and Coach did say that it's nothing serious, so we do hope that she is okay, because with her on the court, the Bobcats are a completely different team.
All right, we're here at Burke Concours. I'm Nick Cataldi. This is Drew Feinberg.
Great stuff as always, guys. One more break, but when we come back, hockey season? Yeah, polls are out, and one team on campus took the ice for the first time. Stick it here. We'll be right back.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning After.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network.
We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
Or heading to class.
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas. Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
This is Sports Paws.
Are you concerned with the 0-2 start for this team?
Right here, top of the circle, again, rips it past the Jasper's goalie.
What will breaking the record mean for the program himself? I mean, 138 wins.
There's the tough shot. What a nice play by Mikey Dixon.
He's good in transition. Just a really dynamic scorer he can create for himself.
And now, Emma, it's time for the top 5 plays of the week.
Welcome back to Sports Paws, brought to you by Custom Cakes by Steve. If you can dream it, we can bake it. And Dylan, welcome back to Sports Paws. Although it's only the end of September, Dylan, ice hockey season is just upon us.
It doesn't feel like it at all. It was 85 today. Fall just started. It's just weird. It's just weird
exactly,
for hockey. But around here, I'm not going to complain too much because both ice hockey teams should be successful this season. And actually, the USCHO.com poll came out today. So let's take a look. Quinnipiac men's ice hockey starts off the season at 14th in the nation. They missed out on the NCAA tournament last year for the first time since 2012. ECAC foes Cornell and Union right behind them, and Western Michigan rounds out the top 20 after finishing 10th to end 2017.
And the women's ice hockey team is expected to finish 9th in the nation in the USCHO poll. The Bobcats were ranked 4th nationally in the USCHO poll last preseason. And now we head on to the scrimmage. Quinnipiac women's hockey against the Concordia Stingers, and already up 1-0 is the Stingers. Brigitte Lajeunière gets a wrist shot through the glove side of Abby Ives. Concordia jumps out with an early 2-0 lead. And going into the first intermission. But when the Bobcats were able to get one back, initial shot is stopped, but Sarah Ev Kutu-Godbu finds the back of the net, and the Bobcats are only down by 1. Now it's Kutu-Godbu again, this time with a slap shot, and it's tied up to a piece. As we head into the third period, the Bobcats have already scored via CT Sanfrano. Puck takes a funny bounce off of Shannon Sherpak in front of the net, and Concordia ties things up with less than 4 minutes to go, and the scrimmage ended in a 1-1 tie.
It was a great weekend for one men's tennis player. Sophomore Austin Yanone has a great start to the fall season. He takes home the Flight B title at the Quinnipiac Invitational. Bobcats are going to rely heavily on Yanone more this year, as Kiyazaka graduated from a team that lost in the MAC semifinals last year. So Yanone is going to need to step up, along with Freddie Zaretsky, Kyle Alper, and Axel Stern.
And staying on the topic of tennis, Dylan, the women's tennis team participated in the Army Invitational this weekend at West Point. Freshman Dominique Vasily had 4 wins and defeated Seton Hall's McCall Matson to win the B singles consolation bracket. Sophomore Layla Rodriguez picked up 3 wins as well to advance to the A singles consolation bracket final, but fell to Army's Brigitte Guinard 8-1.
A record-breaking performance for the golf team this weekend at Dartmouth. The Bobcats hit the links for the first time this year and didn't disappoint. Quinnipiac shattered its 36-hole program record by 28 strokes and won the tournament over Northeast teams like Albany, Dartmouth, Boston U, and Siena. Junior Luciano Tobia Palza finished second overall after shooting 3 under par. All right, time for top 5 plays of the week. We've got some good ones tonight. We start on the hardwood with volleyball. St. Peter's didn't really stand a chance in the game or on this play. Let's get to it. Top 5 plays brought to you by Q30 Sports. Maria Pansari with a nice setup to Jen Coffey, who spikes it with authority. Quinnipiac sweeps 3-0.
At number 4, it's women's soccer as Nicole Sasso heads the ball past Myshevsky to win the game with 3 minutes to go.
Number 3, it's Rugby, Quinnipiac and Penn State. Kayla Cannett dodges multiple Bobcat defenders, and slides into the try zone. She gets 5 points, but Quinnipiac gets the win 36-27.
At number 2, Rebecca Hate's going to use her speed near that far sideline to blow past a Penn State player and get in for the try. And that would bring the Bobcats within 1 try in the second half of that game against the Nittany Lions.
That was great, Mike, but this is better. Number 1, you saw it earlier. Women's soccer tied in overtime with Siena. Nadia Gill sends Quinnipiac fans home happy. Gets by 2 defenders, 9 goals on the year for her. She is killing it right now, killing it.
I mean, second in the nation in points.
Crazy,
I mean,
and they have a big game coming up on Wednesday against Fairfield. That's crucial MAC points on the road for them.
It is indeed, Dylan. So that is all the time we have for today. That's all. Thank you for watching, and follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and Q30 Television.
And don't forget to check out our website at q30tv.com. Next show is same time, same place. For Mike Dalton, I'm Dylan Fearon. Have an excellent night.